Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the gaming booth. Episode 2 is a lost episode. Don't
Episode 2 is a
ask.
lie.
No, episode 2 had no cake in it. And there, I've made that joke. Our careers can crash and burn before
Like they
even
weren't
start.
already.
Actually, no, it's not that the cake was a lie. It's more like Jin having a heart is a lie.
I'm gonna say that the episode 2 is just pretty much like the Mario 2 of our generation. Because
It's all a dream.
no. Well,
We don't
yes,
talk
actually.
about it. No,
It would
no,
be a
no. Hold on. I have it. Episode 2 is Fight Club. First rule Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. Moving on.
Damn
We
it!
just talked about Fight Club, though. Oh my god, now I've talked about Fight Club.
Ha! I didn't say it.
We're going to start off talking about Sony.
I will not talk about the episode we're not supposed to talk about, where all the awesome stuff happened, including the big reveal over Microsoft and Sony's new systems, and also leprechauns.
Yes, we found a leprechaun and we took its pot of gold.
And
So
now,
we're secretly
the
all rich, living on our own personal islands.
and now the leprechaun mafia hit squad's trying to kill us all, and we're on the run.
Destroy
Hence
us
why I'm on my
all.
own personal island. No one knows where I am.
Let me guess. That personal island has flocks of Scotsmen everywhere, doesn't it?
Oh yes.
And you renamed them all Garen.
No. Only the one really buff, attractive one.
All right, we're gonna start off talking about Sony because everyone likes Sony. Well, currently I don't like Sony because we're gonna take down our service for 12 hours and then it's gonna be down for 48 hours. Bite me, Sony.
Is it still down?
No, it's up.
Oh, okay.
Current rumor from computerandvideogames.com is that they're saying they had an interview with a studio source from Sony, and that they're confirming that they are not going to be using the DualShock design for controllers anymore. So that controller you've gotten used to over the age, we're gonna throw that out. And it said they're prototyping many new controllers, one of which they said has an LCD touchscreen, so Wii U, knockoff.
Just like everyone else.
Why?
Because
That's all I gotta
it's
say, just-
popular.
Be fucking original for a change. For Christ's sake, your last controller because of the Wii looked like a fucking dildo. Just
Okay,
Christ me.
Eddie, the
real
last
talk
time.
Here. Hold on. Real talk here. When we originally saw those the first time in the store, my mom actually asked when they started selling sex toys in Walmart. So
Perfect.
Brilliant.
yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Let's-
another controller they were talking about had biometrics in the hand grip, so I'm guessing to tell how fast your heart is beating and body temperature and stuff. I don't exactly know what that would be used. Like, how do you control your own body temperature
So
to
now,
do something, but whatever.
so now we're pretty much
The
going
Sony
with
Power Glove, it's so bad.
So now we're kind of going with the vitality sensor in a sense with your controller.
Hey, Eddie, when did you move away from your microphone? Speak up.
I said, so now we're going with the vitality sensor in a controller.
Yeah, and then you slip it over your penis and sword fight.
Sweet! That's the best
Hey,
controller ever.
then-
Felicity,
wait,
you're going to
wait,
have to
that
miss
is-
out on that one.
That is totally sexist. What am I supposed to do?
You use the PlayStation Move.
No. She gets a strap on and just goes ding ding. There you go.
Shabam!
And
And
look,
this
mine has a
episode-
glowing blue ball at the end.
And this
Mine glows
episode
in
is,
the dark. Yeah.
and
You
this
guys are
episode is
totally
brought-
missing out on the hip thrusting action, by the way, that I just inappropriately did in the direction of my computer.
Oh, we
Damn.
felt that way about your computer.
Why do I feel like I just got teabagged?
Oh, you totally virtually did. By a
But yeah,
chick.
this is a rumor so far, but there are patents coming out of Sony for controller design, so I think this one is fairly good to chalk up there as most likely true. I kind of hope they go with the LCD touchscreen thing, possibly put a touchscreen on the back like they did with the PSV and have just a giant PSV controller. Fun time.
Instead of that, why not just go back to the original controller that you had for the PlayStation 3 when we first actually saw it? It kind of looked like a damn boomerang. I mean, just a thought here.
Why you
See,
want to
I
throw it at
wish I wish people, when it came to reimagining their systems, like controllers and things like that, they do something different. Like the Wii, they realized, hey, Microsoft and Sony beat us out when it came to motion control, even though Sony wasn't far off from Wii anyway. So we need to do something else. So they came up with that Wii gamepad, completely different than anything else that we had seen when it came to a console. But now that they've come up with it, because of them, I bet you anything, right now it's Sony, that Microsoft may also follow suit and do something similar. Technically, they already have, because they have the Microsoft Surface thing where you can actually use your tablet or phone to communicate with the Xbox and use it to do some functions. But it's different still. Hopefully they stay that way instead of, hey, look, let's take this person's idea, add a few more fancy little things to it, and then re-release it. Because it's kind of getting old.
Let's be fair, that's what the entire industry has been for the past 3 decades, is someone does something popular and everyone else rips it off. What's it?
Yeah, mainly
Nintendo
Nintendo's
did
been
the
the one
D-pad,
innovating.
and then now every controller has a D-pad.
It's mainly been Nintendo innovating the entire time. Nintendo will innovate, and while they're trying to figure out the kinks and get everything nailed down, everybody else copies them.
Exactly. No one wants to, or Nintendo is the only one. I don't think Nintendo wants to make the risk or take the risk, but no one else is going to. They might as well.
Yeah, and hats off to Nintendo for doing that. That's the entire generation was essentially trying to cash in on Nintendo's popularity.
And I'm going to
Maybe
throw
not.
my hats off to
Yeah.
Razer
Maybe not.
because of
Maybe
their
not.
one controller that was a little crystal ball in the middle of the 2 little Wiimote-looking things that
Yeah.
blah. I don't think that ever went anywhere, but it's fun for playing Portal 2.
No, see, my thing is I just noticed that something came from CES, from Microsoft, where they had this little box, and it would scan the entirety of your room.
Don't talk about that.
That's just something that I could possibly see coming.
Bad Eddie. Bad.
No,
Smack.
I'm just saying.
Smack.
I'm just saying. Shush
Next
you,
on the
no,
Sony
no.
list, we're talking Naughty Dog. Saw an interview that brought up something that I don't think a lot of gamers think about. I didn't think about. And it's something that really needs to be mentioned because this is a big thing. Is when interviewed, they were asking about the transition from this generation to the next generation, so from PS3 to PS4. And one of the high ups said that it was a terrifying prospect because he said between the PS2 and PS3 transition, some people just couldn't cope and left. And it kind of makes sense. You've got to go from doing something you're really used to just something completely out of left field. You've got new architecture to work with. You've got to learn the limits of a new system. You've got to learn how the system works, and you've also got to do this while not exactly knowing how this system. Like, I guarantee Sony wants Naughty Dog to make PS4 exclusive games without knowing what the PS4 controller is going to look like.
Okay, yes, and there's also the fact that before the actual system hits streets, and like right now, I can imagine that most of these big
I'm just
name
imagining
companies,
a PS4 falling off of a building.
Yeah, I know.
Hitting the
But I'm saying
streets.
before these actual consoles hit the streets, these big name companies like Naughty Dog, Epic, and
Nintendogs.
I was gonna say Nintendo,
Nintendogs.
but no.
Damn.
But Naughty Dog, Epic, BioWare, EA, they all get a dev kit with this new system. I'm sure they're already playing and then trying to figure out ways they can create games for these systems. Granted, it's probably scary because it's like, okay, this is a new contraption. What the fuck are we going to do? And it's like, okay, we got to figure out how high we can take the graphics and how much space we can fit on a disc, because most companies now are going discs because cartridges no longer are applicable
Yes,
unless you're a
this has
handheld
been the same
company.
thing for over a decade, Eddie. Why are
I
you
know,
bringing
I
it
know.
up?
But there's still companies that do use little cartridges because the DS, hello. I'm just saying.
The DS thing is like a little flash card you plug into the thing, though.
Still, some companies still like that little kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. Blark.
You
Well,
always digress.
Blark.
This should be called the digression booth.
I take my
no,
pants off.
that that's Eddie's section of the booth. Stay away
Okay,
from Eddie's
wait,
section
wait,
of the booth.
wait. This is required. Your mom's the digression booth. Oh.
Yeah, they also said that the Uncharted team's trying to find a new project, and that the next game they make might not even be next gen. They just might stick to the PS3 for now, which might. They're owned by Sony, so Sony might just go and give them the death stare for a couple months.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
See, the thing with and you if you watch console generations, you start to kind of notice this. It's understandably hard for those teams that are not in the loop, whether they have dev kits or not, because they are getting used. They don't know what exactly they're doing yet, and they're trying to get their head around this. And I know Eddie's said a little bit of this.
Hmm?
And the problem is, because of that, um, a lot of the games that come out near the beginning is you're going to have some games that are good, but they're not going to be to the same standards as games that are going to come out at near the end of the life cycle when companies know what they're doing and they can really push the limits. You're going to see the best that the system can offer. Really not. You never see that at the beginning of the launch
It's
because
like
companies have
this.
no clue what they're dealing with.
It's like this. Normally, the first year or so, you got companies trying to work and find the bugs and the kinks and everything. So that first year, unless you're a first-party developer, you're not going to be finding very many titles that are like your Assassin's Creed.
Even the first party developers have been falling short, though, especially in the
Some.
last console generation.
Some, yes, but a lot of them are still keeping up. But
Well, that was even said of Nintendo. For example, one of the big games that sold at the launch of the Wii U, New Super Mario Brothers U. Yes, it looks a little bit brand spanking, sparkling new, but a lot of the criticism it received was that, aside from it being a little more shiny, there really isn't that much of a difference between that game and New Super Mario Brothers Wii. It's still essentially the same thing.
well, yeah,
Um,
you keep it basic.
well, not only the basics, but even the graphics, is it really wasn't pushed as far as it should have been.
I want to say this. I'm gonna hope for it, and when we get to our freaking E3 previews, I want to see a freaking Pokemon Wii U game. Damn it!
Yeah, that's doubtful. It seems that Game Freak really wants to zero in and not leave the handheld realm.
I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it
Well,
because
there's if they won't leave the handheld realm, I assume. I think what Eddie's saying is they'll do what they always do and export the Pokemon name to another studio to make a game for the Wii U.
they'll do
And
something.
I hope they do that. I hope it's the same people or that did the GameCube games, or at least somebody who takes the same tact, because I would love to see that type of game again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Xbox 360 and PS3's coffin, and the next gen coffin. You see Pokemon Skyrim style, and it's like everybody's just going, Wii U, please beat off, take my money now.
A Pokemon Skyrim game. That would
Yes, give me.
Okay, let me just say this right now. I don't care if people call me a sellout. If that ever came into existence, I would play the shit out of it.
I would too.
I don't care.
Just because it would be new for what Pokemon is. Just the ability to control your Pokemon flat out would be interesting.
There would be buckets, and they would be full, and nobody would know how to control the freaking raging extreme boner in their pants after seeing that. Hell,
Even
I wouldn't know what I would do with it.
All right, Sony Part 3, PlayStation Mobile. If you've got a handheld device like a phone that is Sony certified for the PlayStation Network, or you've got a PSV, you're in luck because one of the annoying things is not having enough games to play on one of these things, especially if you've got the PSV. In an attempt to get people to use the market more, Sony is giving away one free game a week every Wednesday. It starts for the next 6 weeks. You go into the PlayStation Mobile section of the store, and boom, free game. This week it is Samurai Beatdown, which is a pretty good game. I don't know how much it costs normally, but I bet about $5. So that's $5 you're saving. I think it's a good idea because you need something to make people want to buy one of these systems.
Free game every week? Sure, I'll take it.
I'll jump on that bandwagon too. I mean, that's the enticing thing about a lot of the newer ideas coming out for memberships or coming out with incentives for you buying things is, hey, we're going to give you this every month, or this is the rewards program that can go along with that and things like that, which is really nice.
why do you think I buy my Nintendo games new if I can? I get rewards for it.
Microsoft, hint, hint, one free, maybe indie game per month. Do it.
That's why
Oh
another
my
reason I'm
God,
buying
seriously.
Fire Emblem from GameStop, because hey, I'm getting a limited edition book to go along with it. Free shit. It's here. Buy our stuff and free stuff. Here. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
And moving on to the thing that Eddie just keeps wanting to talk about is
My bad, monkey.
in our Microsoft news, because we managed to talk about Nintendo without actually having a Nintendo story. Good job, Nintendo. Yeah, Microsoft has announced a thing they were talking about back in September, or rather, they put in the patents for back in September. They're calling it the Illumiroom. The idea is in their next Xbox console, they're researching and developing a system that would use the Kinect to scan the room and calculate the depth of everything, where everything is, and then use a projector. I'm assuming you'd have to buy your own projector because they're not cheap. And it would just project outlines around the room, the idea is to expand your field of view outside of just the TV. So if you're, say, playing a first-person shooter, you can see someone sneaking up from the right, and you can turn and cap them in the face.
I have an idea. Sit in the dark with fucking white walls. There you go. That saves you money on your projector.
But yeah, we're supposed to get more information on this in April, and they want this to be a big thing. I understand that they want this to be a big thing, but I really don't see how it can be, because, like I said, a projector is expensive. A cheap projector will cost you about $1,000.
And we're talking about projector, the things that project them, not the screens, Eddie.
And the idea is that, why would you want a projector if you've already got a TV? And if you've got a projector instead of a TV, how is the Illumiroom going to work with that?
Maybe the Illumiroom has a projector built in?
No.
Damn.
Because it would have to be behind you, and the Kinect would have to be in front of you, I believe.
Hey, it's a thought. You never know. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's in beta right now, I would say.
Yeah, I'm interested in where they go with it, but they're putting so much hype on something that I see as more being a useful feature and not a selling point.
Plus, you have to look at how what really happened with Kinect in this last console generation. They tried to hype Kinect as much as they can, and in the end, most hardcore gamers really didn't find Kinect that useful.
Well,
Just dance
mainly because
to
there just
machine.
weren't there just weren't many games that could utilize the
Yeah.
Kinect properly.
So really, Connect, as much as they pushed Connect in this console generation, Connect really didn't work out the way they wanted it to.
Just
And I can see this being the same way. They're going to hype and hype and hype it, and it's really not going to shoot off the way they want it to. It's not going to work the way they want to. They're not going to be able to develop the games they want to because people do not want to be forced to buy, whether it's the Kinect or the Illumiroom or whatever. So I see this being the Kinect of the next console generation. I don't think Microsoft can really push the Kinect and the Illumiroom like they think they can.
plus gamers are lazy, so doing all that, it's like I had to do all that work just to actually play a game in a different way. Fuck that shit, I'm too lazy.
I wouldn't call it lazy. I think that gamers like playing games a certain way, and there's a lot of people who like traditional controls. I'm not saying it's lazy, it's just the way things are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the well, you got to look for the traditional Kinect model. You've got to look at it as most people, they play the way they play games is they go to do a hard day at work, and when they get home they're exhausted, and they're not going to stand there and dance around for their TV's amusement. They want to lay down, eat some chocolate, and hold a controller. It's not lazy, it's called relaxing.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, if you, the kids will enjoy it, but as far as like the adults will go, no. Because you get kids who they're really hyped, and they're gonna go, oh, I'll play my video games, and that sort of thing.
I want to play my video games.
I think it's a cool concept. Like I also thought like the Kinect was a cool concept. And the few times I've played my Kinect and the few times that I've actually had room enough to play my Kinect, because I have a tiny, tiny office that I can't really set it up and flail around in. I've always had fun playing it. Like I've played Fruit Ninja, I've played the Kinect Adventures game, I've played the Joyride game, I've played Kinect Star Wars, and I had a lot of fun with them.
And before we go any further, let's just have a moment of silence for Rare.
Oh, ha
There we
ha.
go. Continue.
I'm confused now. Brain. Okay. Anyway.
They make all the Kinect shovelware for Microsoft.
Oh, okay. Well, I've always really liked them. I've never really had a problem with the Kinect or the games. It's just that they promised a lot of things and they didn't have them ready. But they're promising that in Kinect 2.0, all the things that were promised in the first Kinect are going to be in the second one. So
Yeah, it's one of those like, boy who cried wolf things. Do you really expect people to buy it a second time?
No.
Yeah.
I think the most fun we've had out of a Kinect is with the programs for the computer, where you plug your Kinect into the computer and then you just dance around and you get a rag doll on screen that will follow your movements. That's much more fun than any of the games I've played on Kinect, except for maybe that Star Wars pod racing game. And if you want to get really, really fancy, that Star Wars dancing game, just for how hilarious it is. All right, yeah, that has been the gaming booth. If we fucked something up, if you don't like us, give us a comment. Later.
Later.
You.